Let's
Here
do it.
we go. You know, you're still alive, man. Survive in advance.
I
Still
appreciate
alive.
that. I think you sent me a heart from California, man. They told me I was on my 23rd hour. They called in the priest. I was getting read my rights, and then I got that phone call. We got a heart for you, straight from California. They flew it in on the helicopter, laid me on
how,
the table, put it in me,
how do you,
resuscitated me, man. Oh
what's the
man, woo.
what's the symbol they do on
Yeah.
the on the social media? Something like
Iceman,
that.
Iceman, 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 man. Caleb
That's what's up,
Saquon
man. Welcome
Williams.
everyone. Welcome everyone to H&M Sports Academy. My name is Mo. This is Harry, and we are here today with the new launching of our program. Only a couple of months into this program, this podcast, and certainly appreciate all the support we've gotten so far to this point. If you are new here or just getting a hold of this, just please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you like this type of content, we're going to be moving on throughout the course of this year, the rest of football season, into the off season, into the NBA. We're going to cover a lot of news and notes as well. So really excited about everything that we have going on. This is possibly the best weekend of the year. You're talking about the divisional rounds for the NFL. You got NBA action in the background. You got the college football national championship with Miami, the U going up against Indiana.
Right.
That's an amazing story as it is. We could talk for another 30, 40 minutes just on that by itself, man. But we are here today. We cover mostly the NFL. We feature the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. The Cowboys be gone fishing. They did the 1-2-3 Cancun.
Bora
Uh,
Bora,
so
Cancun. But
all
we
of
got some
those.
great footage from Hard Knocks, man. You know,
Yeah,
the Hard Knocks,
yeah,
all jokes aside,
yeah,
to kind of kick you guys off into the off season. I thought it was some pretty good,
yeah. It is.
insight
It's
footage,
good to
man.
see what's going on, kind of inside inside the building. So that's great. We're going to hit some quick news and notes here, and then we're going to jump right into the divisional rounds and the matchups that we have. We got 4 exciting games. These are final 8 teams in the NFL, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Some news and notes, man. Right now, there are 9 coaching spots available, and I think that maybe there's 8 now because I think the news came out today that John Harbaugh
Yeah, he
is
finalized the deal. Yeah.
signing a 5-year deal with the New York Football Giants that are in the NFC East. Talking about the Cowboys, and
Yeah, that's
there
in
you
your
go.
that's in your division. How you feel about that, man?
Yeah, look, Harbaugh's an excellent coach. He's got almost 20 years of service. He's got 2 Super Bowls,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been one of the best CEO type coaches. He's not an X's and O's guy. He's more of a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the Giants, that's probably good for them because they are looking to change their culture.
Right.
A proud franchise that's really fallen on hard times in the last decade and a half.
Yeah, the Mara family. That's a Mara family.
Yeah,
Um, you know, very traditional, a
yeah,
lot of pride. I think
yeah,
he's a good fit just
yeah.
because of their players. I feel like Dart, Scatterbo, Neighbors are so edgy. He
Mm,
brings to your point, the CEO style, executive
yeah,
style to kind of
yeah.
button them up in that way. So I like the fit.
Yeah, I mean, some people say he's immediately the best coach in the division. The
Wow.
Giants going to be, hitting it hard. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the quarterback position is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say the negative. He's a guy. He's very depending on his quarterback and stuff like that. When Lamar goes down, he seems to struggle. He missed the playoffs. For 3 or 4 years now, and they've had some down times too when they
Mm-hmm.
have injuries and stuff. So we'll see. If the CEO's coach is going to get it done, I'm sure his coordinator is going to make a difference.
Fun
Uh,
fact: the last, I think, 13 out of the 14 Super Bowl winning teams had an offensive-minded head coach.
yeah, yeah,
Can't
and
not saying it can't be done. It
yeah,
just the way with the rules of the NFL and just the trend of how things are going from an
yeah,
offensive standpoint.
yeah,
I they might be a little bit behind the curve in that way.
yeah.
it feels like a John Fox. We had John Fox come in with the Bears at one point, and we were coming off I think Tressman, and we
Yeah.
were all disjointed and out of sorts. And
Yeah.
he stabilized it. You know, you get certain coaches, I think, who just know how to run it. Mike McCarthy's, the John Foxes.
Yeah.
Question is, can they deal with the McVays, the Ben Johnsons, the Shanahans, the Andy Reeds? So you got to have a knuckleball. You got to have another pitch to try to bring to the table.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Flores head over to the NFC East. I thought that would have been a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of similar in the way they have Houston Texans head coach kind of build what they're doing.
Yeah.
Tough defensive identity with a nice offense. But to your point, you can't really go wrong with John Harbaugh. He's a special teams guy. Special teams coaches, they know how to lead a team and coach multiple units and organize an unstabilized franchise and get them baselined out.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see. To be determined. The Cowboys have owned the Giants for quite some time.
That's what I was going to say. You don't sound scared, man. You don't seem worried.
I believe it when I see it. I mean, it's still the Giants. I still feel like the Cowboys they still have the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the coaches, which team has the most offensively gifted or offensively creative coach? It's the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, you guys
more so than Dan Quinn or Sirianni. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some advantages to that. We'll see how it goes when it comes down to it, and pass it. But there's still the other 8 positions available for head coach. So there's a lot of moving and shaking there. I think some teams are waiting to see who loses, who gets knocked out, so you can have the chance to talk to a guy like Flores,
right?
Vance Joseph, see if those guys get knocked out, if they stick around.
Halfley from Green Bay is a hot name.
He just came available. Honestly, if I said for Dallas, I think the leader in the clubhouse is what they call it, right? I think it's going to be Jim Leonhard.
Mm-hmm.
He's done very well as a D coordinator at Wisconsin. He is the assistant to Vance Joseph. He's a secondary guy. He's a teacher. He's an instructor, and that's what Shoddy likes. He wants to be able to make things simple, and I think he wants a guy who also, isn't looking for the next best thing. The thing I love, like Flores, is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He really is, but he really wants to be probably a head coach. So the odds of him sticking around for 3, 4, 5 years probably is slim to none. As soon as he gets he comes to Dallas and turns that program around, he's gonna be out. He's gonna get another job.
Yeah, he's gonna get a gig. Yeah,
especially how bad we look. If you make us look good, they were like, you can turn water into wine, man.
Shoddy told Flus, man, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. I love you. I love the man. I love the person.
Yeah.
But we got to move on to some bigger and better things. So I know Jersey Mo, I know you were calling for Flus's head weeks ago. I just think I'll reiterate the point. Coming from the Chicago, head coaching job, he needed a softer, a less of a spotlight to kind of land and rebrand himself. And Dallas defensive coordinator position is just as bright when it comes to just the scrutiny and your decision making and just the overall performance of that unit. And for some reason, there's some things that we talked about. Obviously, losing Micah and not having your main pass rusher to disrupt was a huge loss to him. But he was just never able to really get that group, to gel. That the week 6 trade deadline, the pieces never really had a chance to gel. They fit for a little bit, about 2 games. I think there was some life, and just kind of fell off the rails, man. You guys' schedule was a little bit too tough, and I think Flus's scheme is a little bit too bend but don't break. And if you start breaking, it looks terrible, So you got to have. Go ahead.
Well, and I was going to just say that just to, right what you just said, bend but don't break. I think that's a good scheme. When you deal with teams that aren't offensively gifted, and eventually they're going to break down. But honestly, man, these teams, if you keep letting them bend, they're not going to break. They're going to score.
But I think, yes, and this is the other piece that I thought about, is what really did Flus in. Your offense was so explosive, and they like, damn, if we can't win with this offense, with this defense, it's never going to work, because you guys were, top 3 offense within the league all season. Yeah. And I think that was another piece. You guys score so fast, and you guys were so explosive that it almost, and we talked about it a lot, just the last 15 years, marrying up your defense to your offense and having that symbiotic, that connection to where it makes sense. And I think your offense is way too explosive for that style of defense that Flus plays, because of the lack of getting off the field, lack of turnovers. Yeah. And then you guys are burning through your opportunities, and then not able to get any of that back, right? So it just wasn't a perfect marriage. And sometimes Shotty made a tough decision. That's what you want to see out of your leaders. When it doesn't work, you got to cut bait. And I think he realizes the window's wide open in that NFC East, man. You guys can go win it next year.
Yeah. They're definitely there for the taking. A lot of moving and shaking in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles have a new offensive coordinator on the circuit, so they're going to see. I think they probably would love to have like a Mike McDaniels from Miami, but I think at the end of the day, McDaniels might end up being head coach again. I think he's with all those spots open.
So?
Well, I mean, if I'm a team like Cleveland or something like that, I'm like looking at them saying, hey, look, the way our defense is, if we keep Schwartz and we bring Mike McDaniels in and we can score the ball and so forth, all of a sudden we become potent. And now look at the NFC North. Now the North is kind of light because you got Tomlin and Harbaugh gone.
Yeah, you got a lot of turnover there.
He's an offensive gifted guy, and with the thing we talked about with the offensive coaches, you don't have to worry about losing your coordinator, because they run the
coordinator. Yeah,
they are the coordinator. So they so you get McDaniel, you don't lose the secondary guy, the second in charge to another. You're going to keep the same philosophy there. But I still say he may be one of those guys who may end up getting a coaching job, because there's not that many offensive coaches, a lot of defensive guys,
Yeah, Detroit Lions put a bid in for him quickly. They did an interview.
I wouldn't like that.
So I saw that.
I wouldn't be a fan of that.
I'm not a huge fan of it either. It makes perfect sense, man. It's not a.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It for the Bears, it'll definitely be something that we would have to deal with in a way, because Campbell kind of slides back into his normal CEO role, and then McDaniel can run that offense. I also look at it too, though. I don't know if McDaniel and Campbell marry up well, just because McDaniel is his personality. Is so laid back, and so he's an acquired taste, right?
A
little quirky, a little eccentric, and the personalities. I think Ben Johnson and Campbell worked because they were so intense, man. Yeah, and it kind of they made it happen. Morton, who got kicked out of Detroit, intense guy, but just didn't have the schematics and the strategy that Ben Johnson had. So, those are big shoes to fill in Detroit that Ben Johnson left. But I think Mike McDaniel will be up for the task for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's a little bit of the news and notes that's going on. We'll keep you abreast along the way as the coaches start to fill out, not just for the Cowboys, but for the rest of the league. We'll jump into some of these divisional matchups here and start talking a little bit about that. So we can
let me throw them up on the screen, man, so the people can see what we got going on.
Cue it up. Cue the music. And so
you want to where you want to start? I know we got the Saturday slate. You want to start with the Saturday slate?
Yeah, let's start with the Saturday slate. That we got the Bills in Denver and 49ers Seattle on Saturday, right?
Right. Before we get started, I heard Tony Dungy crying about the Bears getting an extra day because of the scheduling, right? Remember, we played Saturday and now we're playing Sunday. Bears prime time.
But so did the Rams. The Rams too, right?
Right. He's saying it's an unfair competitive advantage. And I'm like, this has been happening for ever since I can remember the playoffs. The marquee teams always got the prime time slots. And I think Denver played Saturday. Buffalo plays Saturday, so I think they're basically on a short week.
The Rams. No, Buffalo plays Sunday. The Rams and the Carolina Panthers played on Saturday.
Gotcha. Well, Tony Dungy was talking about it's
they both played on
advantage.
Saturday, and the Rams finished up sooner.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams finished up sooner, and so by the time the Packers game and the Packers and the Bears game was over with, the Rams was probably halfway back to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I personally think the two major markets, the game that everybody wants to see, that Rams and Bears game, the Seattle and San Francisco game, I think is a good one too. And this Houston New England game is intriguing me quite a bit as well. So Houston New England is going to be at, I want to say, at 3:00 or so, and then the Bears is going to be at 6:30 Eastern. So it's going to be a really good slate of games. So we'll start off with let's go Denver Buffalo, man. Let's talk Denver Buffalo.
Yeah, so we got Josh Allen, traveling out to Denver. This is a rematch. Last year, Denver and Buffalo played, and Denver scored first, and they thought they was gonna flex their muscles, and that was the last time the band played for them dudes. That was it.
Yeah.
But Buffalo wiped the deck with them, man. And it's one of those things where you got this young quarterback, and Bo Nix is coming along, and you got Denver, who's got a top 2, top 3 level defense, and so you like the defense, you like some of the pieces that Denver has, but the quarterback is over in Buffalo. He's the guy. He's on a mission here, so it's going to be interesting to see right now. You look at Buffalo going up against Denver's defense. Buffalo only has 3 receivers left. All of the other guys.
Yeah, I saw that, and 3 receivers and some duct tape and Dalvin Cook. That's what they rolling up into the Mile High.
Seriously,
they're hurting. On the offensive side of the ball.
Brandon Cooks. We talked about Keon Coleman being a bust. Man, they asking him. They need him to step up like he all pro this week.
Hey, all hands on deck, and he actually looked a little better. Last week he looked engaged.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to this point in the playoffs, and with the injuries and things just occurring real time, you got to put some of the I call it just the cultural, your egos aside, and things that weren't working. You got to go with what you got, right? So you can't make any more late season trades. And him and Cooks actually didn't look bad out there. Cooks made a pretty good impact. He still looked quick. He still looked fast.
He still got that juice, man. He can still run a hell of a 9 route, and he's quick as a hiccup.
Right.
And he's one of those guys, man. He's also a culture guy. The one thing about Cooks, he's always good in the locker room. So you want to make a run with a guy like that. You certainly can with that. So that's the issue there. I mean, Denver's okay stopping the run. They're decent with it, but most of the time they discourage you with it. I think Buffalo, with that offensive line, they got to come off the ball and get a better running game with Cooks.
I'm afraid this one gonna get ugly, man. Honestly, sometimes in the wild card we forget about the 2 big dogs, right? Who been resting for effectively they've been the 2 number 1 seeds been resting, game planning, and they're fresh and healthy. And that Denver defense is a monster. Buffalo injured up front with the offensive line. I think they got a couple of pieces back. They're not completely healthy. A little beat up in the secondary. Yeah, I got a feeling this one might tilt a little bit and go Denver's way. And you get them up in, the home field advantage. You get them up in the thin air. This is the second trip. This Buffalo's second trip where they're going cross country. So, that always I add that into the equation. But I got the feeling you don't love Bo Nix, right? So that might be your weight to kind of tip the scales back in favor to kind of equal some things out. How you feel about Bo, man?
I don't love Bo Nix. I really don't. I think he's.
So that was quick. I don't love him.
I think he's limited AF.
Right.
You know, I think that he's one of those. You know, he's a young quarterback, and they do a lot of that dink and dunk stuff, that underneath stuff, man. And Buffalo is very solid in the secondary. The problem is they struggle stopping the run. Mm-hmm. If they can buckle up to stop the run against Denver, I think they can bait Bo Nix into making some mistakes still with their secondary. They're not 100% healthy. Buffalo in the secondary either. They're going to be missing one of their corners. So we'll see how that stands out. You know, and I don't really care for Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's a bad person. He seems like a nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who I don't care for is Sean Payton.
That's what I was going to say. But I got to play devil's advocate. Sean Payton, man, his ability to, you know, scheme and get that offense to where he's the ultimate deodorant, man.
Yeah.
He can scheme and hide Bo Nix to where he can get them through to the in an AFC championship. Whoever they face in that AFC championship, and we'll get to it, but that Houston defense and the New England defenses, man, they look hellacious. So I don't know if he can scheme them up as well, but yeah.
I just the Sean Payton thing, man. He's one of the most arrogant, smug ass dudes I know, bro. He just is. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the Russell Wilson thing, and I understand the Russell Wilson thing, because we know how Russell Wilson can be. But you know, I don't know if you heard about the press conference the other day they had, and one of the reporters asked about Greenlaw, you know, the linebacker, and his ability to come back, and then him to be able to attack the run and get downhill. So this reporter is asking a legitimate question about, you know, Greenlaw and his ability to do that, to stop the run, and his response is, "What do you know about getting downhill? Did you ever play the position? What do you know about getting down? Why are you asking me a question like that? Like you know what that is? He asked it to a reporter. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about, man?
Hit him with the Popovich, huh?
I just don't understand. But why?
He's Sean. He's always, again, you know, Bountygate. There's a few things, the Russell Wilson situation. We can probably go down the line of. Is he a guy he's a guy you love to have on your side, a guy that you hate when he's not on your side? Yeah. And he's a jerk. He's a jerk, right? So the reality is, you're right. You don't have to treat the reporters that way. I'm sure he's on edge. I'm sure he feels a reporter asking that question is beneath him. And he's bold enough to actually, you know, communicate it as opposed to just think it. So he's also gotten a lot of bad luck. You know, he had that one golden run. But you know, a lot of his teams super successful, kind of snake bit. So some of that karma coming back to him. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're right. He's a guy who, from my perspective, he's always been a jerky and very, very arrogant guy.
Yeah. So you know, I would say, you know, if I had to pick a winner in this game, I'd probably say Denver at home would probably, you know, be able to pull it out. You know, they're just a little bit healthier, and they got the horses. But I would be remiss if I didn't, you know, kind of have a puncher's chance for sure to Buffalo, and there definitely is a path for them to win. You know, Sean McDermott's pretty good at scheming up stuff too. So I would like nothing more than to see Buffalo, you know, pull it off and so forth. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But right now, if I had to pick, I'd probably say Denver, you know, to edge them out. So
so that's, I'm right there with you on that one.
Yeah. That's our first Saturday matchup. The Saturday night matchup is also a rematch. And these two teams have played each other in the last couple of weeks here. Well, actually, they played the first game of the season, and San Francisco won that game by like 3 points or something like that.
Second game in like 20 some odd days. I want to say they played like week 16. Yeah. I went back and I was watching the Rams versus Seattle. Yeah. So that's why I know. But yeah, they played here right towards the end of the year. It was actually for the number one spot in the NFC West. So they know each other well. San Francisco, I got no love for San Francisco. I actually wanted San Francisco, but if we got to wait a week, I'll wait a week. They go into Seattle, and that's another scary defense, man. That Seattle defense,
man,
is talking about, what you want your team to look like getting off the bus.
Yeah.
And then you got McDonald. I know you're a huge fan of McDonald. What do you think about that matchup, man? Shanahan versus McDonald round 3.
I think that is a premier matchup. As some people actually say that McDonald is the defensive version of Shanahan, the defensive version of McVay or Ben Johnson, right? And so
he's setting the trends on defense to stop that offense.
Correct. Right? And he has a history of this. This goes back. He was the Baltimore defensive coordinator, and a couple of years ago, San Francisco was riding high, and they went into Baltimore on Christmas back in 2024, and they just ran San Francisco off the field. Defensively, they had no answers for them, and they just shut them down, turned their water off. And so this is something where, McDonald has no fear of the 49ers. And I really would love to just, talk about the matchup and, this receiver versus this DB and so forth and so on, the young corners they have. But the reality is San Francisco is so injured and beat up.
Yeah. They just lost Kittles to an Achilles.
Yeah, he's gone
out for the season, right?
And so, with that situation there, I want to say that I'm concerned about your depth, the ability to execute the offense if you're San Francisco. But I do know that they have a system and a structure, and it's not dependent on just pure talent. Okay, that's the difference, and that's why they're able to. That's why they were able to beat Philly last week, because they have a system, and Philly is just purely playing based on talent. You beating your guys, so that gives them a puncher's chance. The CMC gives them a puncher's chance. And then I heard defensively, there's a small chance that Fred Warner comes back, which is crazy.
I saw him warming up today. It's no small chance. It looks like a huge chance.
That's crazy.
He was on the field. For those who don't know, I think he broke an ankle, a leg or something.
Yeah, his ankle,
lower left leg extremity injury.
Yep.
And I didn't know much about him. He takes great care of his body. He's a martial arts guy.
Yeah.
And, he was able to, it kind of reminds me of the T.O. when he broke his leg and still came back. Fred Warner at 80% is probably better than most guys at 100, right? And, he couldn't have come back at a better time. The question is, though, this might not be the right game for you to come back when you got that Seattle offense getting downhill.
That's
where
right.
You really got to anchor and take on, some blocks. I didn't check the weather yet in Seattle. If I had a hunch, it's probably going to be cold and wet, and the running game is going to be a huge part of that, regardless of the weather. But I'm with you. I think San Francisco, they've won 8 of 9 the past few weeks here. Throughout all of these injuries, they've only found a way. The reality is CMC can only do so much on offense. Robinson looked amazing. Ricky Pearsall is probably coming back. And you got a few pieces on that San Francisco side where Purdy has been, Purdy's still dug in, and that's bothering the hell out of me. And I can't, again, I want them so bad because of how they beat us in San Francisco to kind of right that wrong. But from, the things that you spoke of around McDonald and his ability to not only scheme up that offense, but having an extra week to game plan, to get healthy, I think Seattle's gonna walk away with it. The only thing that worries me, man, is old Sam Darnold. What do you think about Sam? You think Sam is gonna revert back to what we saw the last time we saw him? He was in Minnesota melting down. What do you think he's gonna do this week?
All right, we're dealing with some technical difficulties here.
Oh, you got some technical. Yeah, Yeah, I can hear you. I was just talking about Sam Darnold, so just let me know when you can hear me. I think Sam is the linchpin, and how they get this whole thing going in Seattle. They got the weapons. They have a great run game. They have a great, you know, um, ability to what I call just dictate the game. Right? They run a lot of. I'm talking about
Yeah,
Sam Darnold and him being
yeah,
the key component. Last time we saw him, he was melting down in Minnesota. And
yeah.
when I look at this game, we didn't talk much about Robert. What is it, Salah, whatever, however you say his
Oh,
name. He's
yeah.
gotten a lot out of this San Francisco defense.
He really
So
he squeezed everything he could out of them guys, man.
every bit of this, every bit of juice out of this orange. So my question to you was, what do you think about my thoughts on Sam Darnold kind of being the linchpin and whether or not Seattle can get past this team or not?
Yeah, he's kind of the variable in
Yeah.
this equation. You got a team. Like we were looking at with Buffalo. You're like, well, I love the quarterback at Buffalo. I think he's better than everyone, but I'm not sure if the team has everything. With Seattle, you said, man, I love the team with all of the players and all the supporting cast. I got questions about the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And so, Donald has had his ups and downs for sure, more downs than ups really in the playoffs. He's shown a little bit of a mettle this year on the back end. But I feel like he's got to go into this game saying, look, this is a little different here. I don't need to win this game. We got running backs, we got position players, we got one of the best receivers in the league. Let me just get the ball in his hands. Let me just get the ball in Walker's hands, and Charbonneau's hands, and let those guys run it, and just get out the way and not screw this up, because this defense, is going to be there. So I think maybe this is a game where, fortunately for him, San Francisco's a little beat up. So yeah, they might not be 100% able to do all the things they want to do, and maybe that gives them an edge. Unfortunately, though, if that's not how the game goes, and San Francisco finds a way to move the ball, then that's going to drop right back into his lap to try to pace with them, and then he can start screwing it up again. You know what I'm saying? So that's very fascinating to see.
Hear me out. I saw, just when doing my due diligence on the Rams, I was watching that Rams Seattle game, and remember, that was a primetime game. It ended up going into overtime.
That's right.
And in that game, they went down, I want to say 30. It was something out of control. I want to say they went down like 3 scores. He threw 2 terrible picks.
Yep.
And they still came back and won that game. I think that might have helped him. When I talked about Chicago having that 4-week stretch, preparing them for the playoffs. I think him having a negative moment and turning it into a positive one is going. I'm thinking it might actually help him to settle down and give him confidence.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm 100% with you on that. I remember that, and I was saying the same thing. That was the here we go again type game. Big game, division on the line, top team, and he just looked like the moment was too big for him. And then this time, though, he had enough time to redeem himself, keep fighting, and turn that thing around, come out right back in, and got back in there. And I think that has to somewhere you file that away somewhere and say, hey man, I can rely on this. I can come back to this at some point if I need it.
Yeah, the whole I don't think he goes in saying I got to be at 10-2. Just steer this thing straight and not not run it off the road. I do think he looks at it from a perspective of, I can take some chances with the football and not be out of it, even if I make a mistake. I have a team around me that can, put that deodorant on some of my mistakes and cover them up. Yeah. So, but I'm also worried he's a 4 interception guy. He's one of those guys where when it go bad, it'll go all the way bad. And in the playoffs, we saw. We got to talk about Herbert too, man. Herbert, CJ Stroud, certain quarterbacks in the playoffs, and now I hate to say this name because he's a Florida boy and I love him. Hell, Lamar Jackson, I thought he played well, but I feel like he's gotten a little bit of snake bitten in the playoffs. So Darnold might be in that category if it goes left on this on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man. I think the team, I would say Seattle, has the advantage and so forth, but at the same time, they probably need to get off on the get off to a fast start as much as anything, because you don't really want to have this situation fall back on Sam Darnold's lap where he's playing uphill, a couple of scores down, and have to do that in a game with this type of magnitude and the pressure there. So yeah, San Francisco, they probably are at a disadvantage, so they need a fast start just to be able to, stay in the game.
They got to. And also, we just experienced it in Chicago with the, playing your divisional foe for the third time. There's not a lot of wrinkles, and at some point you are who you are.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, Seattle knowing who they are with their identity, and McDonald kind of understanding what Shanahan wants to do, I think they jump on them and, they say, hey, we can't play around with these guys. They're dangerous. So I'm thinking Seattle going to come and try to knock them out very early, jump on them quick.
Yeah, I would say that's the smart thing to do. You do not want a team like San Francisco to stick around and hang around, then let Shanahan get into his bag and then knock you out on some type of crazy play or something like that. So, and it's going to be some inclement weather, but it probably won't be anything like Chicago or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be San Francisco going to be just pretty comfortable going up there. So
yeah,
that's that. So if I had to pick this one, I feel like this is the one I feel the most confident about Seattle winning.
Same.
I ain't a big fan of San Francisco either. So I had to ride with them last week to knock the Eagles out, but I'm jumping off that train immediately.
I think I'm riding with them, because I want them.
You want to be at home.
I want them. I want to be at home. So I'm actually going to. I agree with everything you're saying, but for out of the best interest of my Chicago Bears,
of course,
it's what's that? Was it Bang Bang Niner gang? Whatever you say.
E40.
Hey, I hope they limp all the way into Chicago. I hope there was inflammation set up.
Yeah.
Everything, man. I want to see them. So I think we both agree what we think the outcome is going to be. We just got separate agendas that we want to see met. Yeah. So let's shift over to Sunday, man. Houston, New England.
Love this game. Love this game.
Houston, Lou, I sent him a note. Because both our teams left in the playoffs, we were calming each other down. And I told you we spoke, and I never revealed my sources, but I told him, I said, hey, man, the only thing I'm worried about with Houston is CJ Stroud. And it came to fruition, man. That defense is so lights out that he had 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and they still bludgeoned, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They got Pittsburgh literally got 6 points out of all of those miscues. I mean,
unreal.
Dude, you cannot make this stuff up, man. That is unbelievable.
Unreal.
The playoff. That's incredible.
The playoffs is the ultimate. If you got any warts, if you got any weaknesses, the playoffs is where they get exposed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you have all of those turnovers and cannot get any momentum on offense? And that Houston defense, they were so vanilla. That was the first time in an NFL game in a long time where I watched the team just line up and basically dared Pittsburgh to run, pass. They didn't care. They were over everything. My
God, man. It looked like they had 13 people out there. I mean, it's seriously, dude. Yes. I mean, there had to be 2 Petries.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He run around with that helmet cover on, looking like an alien. But man, he was everywhere. Man, you're talking about a safety that's coming up, just doing damage, man. The way they close, the way they tackle and swarm, the way they recover, even when you make a mistake and you bust on them, the way they recover, instead of it getting 15, 16 yards, it's like 4.
Man, I got a secret, and it's not too much of a secret. I hate bullies. I hate bullies with a passion. So when I'm watching this Texas defense, I felt sorry for Aaron Rodgers. They were bullying these boys so
Man,
bad.
it was bad.
I felt, it was all to your point. It was almost I wanted a running clock. Just don't stop it. Just run it through, get it over with. These guys were everywhere. And they were hitting. They were hitting.
Yes.
They were hitting so hard out there that I already knew what the Texans could do, but when you put it on film,
they were in playoff mode.
Yes, they took it up a notch and they made a statement, and it opened up my eyes. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league for the last, I say,
12
weeks. Yeah, 12 weeks almost.
Yeah,
because they started off. Remember, they were like what
1-5. They were
1-5 or something.
Yep.
And they've been lights out ever since. So, on the flip side, I felt the same way about the New England Patriots as they beat up on Herbert.
Yeah,
they felt like they had 30 guys, right? Yeah, and I know you love Herbert and just his makeup, his intelligence, his arm strength, and Harbaugh did not do what we thought he would do, which was lean into the run.
No,
and they look completely disjointed out there. I was super disappointed in them. What did you think about that New England game, man?
Yeah, New England, it just looked like they just outclassed the Chargers. They baited the Chargers into being pass happy, and Herbert was out there. He could not find open. And the honest truth is, the Chargers, McConkey, Johnston, Allen, dude, none of them dudes was separating. They was all locked down. There was no separation. I couldn't even be mad at Herbert for that, because it's like, dude, I can't throw that. You're not open.
It was so bad. I looked. I said, "Where's McConkey?" I said, "Where's Ladd at?" I said, "He can't be in the game." I was mad because I was like, I didn't even know he got hurt. And then my son said, "He's not hurt." I was, "What?" He just in down here in Rikers Island. I said, "Lord,
I'm like, man, where is this guy?
Where is Hampton?" He got a mouthful of seeds with a big heavy coat on. Oh, yeah. He tried to get an ankle to go, and it wouldn't go. So this is such an interesting matchup to me, because
it is.
Drake May and New England is kind of, they've had a, I'm not going to say a completely easy schedule, but it's been one of the lighter schedules.
It's documented as one of the easiest schedules by win-loss percentage in the history of the NFL. It's like the 6th easiest schedule in the last 25 years. There was a very light schedule.
Right, but I also feel like they're treating it that way and beating the hell out of teams too, right?
Oh yeah, it looked like an easy schedule.
It looked like an easy schedule for them, and Vrabel and McDaniel is going to be very interesting. I know McDaniel's going to come with some wrinkles to kind of back Houston off.
Yeah,
I want to say they played. I don't know if they played early in the year. That might have been Houston and Denver that I'm thinking of. But this Houston New England matchup is intriguing to me, just because of when we talk styles make fights.
Yeah,
a lot of Drake May MVP talk, a lot of Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year talk.
Yeah,
well deserved, and I think it's warranted. Houston has been disrespected all year, even by myself. Early on, we laughed at them and kind of ridiculed them for not performing, and rightfully so, because that offense is so bad. And this kind of reminds me of the Ravens championship run when they had Trent Dilfer at quarterback, and it basically 2000, when at the end of the day, you just didn't need him you could have took 3 knees and just punted it back to the defense at that point. He didn't need much.
So I don't think people understand, for those of y'all who don't know, how dominant the 2000 Ravens were. Mm-hmm. They gave up in 4 games, in the playoffs. Right. Three wild card games in the Super Bowl. They gave up a total of 23 points. And of the 23 points, one of them was a kickoff return. They actually only gave up 16 points in 4 effing games, bro.
4 points a game, man. Is insane.
That is unbelievable. So you definitely have a standard to play to. I don't think that Houston is at that level defensively, but they are certainly scary, man. They're certainly scary. And I will say this, Drake, a couple of things. Drake May is a
Mhm.
good runner. He's a big dude, and he can run. And the way that Houston defense is set, with everyone sitting back, you can escape the pocket and run if you can get past the line of scrimmage. Okay, if you can get past the front, right? And there's some holes there for quarterbacks to scramble. But
Right.
you get down.
But Patriots fans, you're right. I think this is the difference, though. With Pittsburgh reminds me a lot of the Eagles and offense, in the sense there's not a lot of wrinkles to it. There's not a lot of variables and different looks that you have to deal with.
Yeah,
I do know one thing: McDaniels has coached in big games before.
He can dial it up. Yeah,
he knows, he's seen tough defenses before, and I think he's going to use that aggression against Houston. Yeah. He's going to test their eye integrity. He's going to test their what I call their ability to be patient within that defense and not give up the big games. I mean, the big gains and the explosives. Yeah. He's going to get it out their hands quick and get it to Diggs. He's going to get it to Henderson and Stevenson and run. I expect a game plan that's going to challenge Houston's defense. If they get by New England, I think they cruise into the Super Bowl, honestly.
Well, we shall see, man. We should.
They got Buffalo. Hold on. So they got Josh Allen's number. They beat up on Buffalo the last couple of years. Yeah. And I just don't think Bo Nix could do anything with that defense. I don't. I know for sure Sean Payton can't save him against that defense.
And honestly, I think the thing with CJ Stroud is, even though he was very sloppy with the football, he was also very aggressive. He made some plays down the field. I do wonder if Nico Collins will play. I just feel like
he can't. I don't think he will. I jokingly sent a text to Houston Louis. I said, hey, after the game, I said the first thing you need to do is find a neurologist who's going to clear Nico Collins, because that's the big piece of their offense that I really think is underestimated and understated how much of a huge piece he is in their game plan. They got some young receivers. I actually watched their young receivers, Higgins and Noel, at Iowa State. When me and Junior went over to watch the Pop-Tart Bowl, they both were at Iowa State. Really talented receivers, but they're rookies. And again, dealing with dealing with the New England defense. Yeah, I think Vrabel is going to throw in some wrinkles and really force CJ Stroud to make some high-level throws and challenge him in a way that Pittsburgh couldn't challenge him on defense, because he knows if I can rattle CJ, then the turnovers that we get, they'll turn them into points. They ain't walking out with 6.
No, they're gonna flip the game. And on the other side, they're saying, Drake May, whatever you do, don't let because Houston scored 14 points on defense, right? They're not just out there just getting stops and getting off the field. Man, they strip, sack, fumble, pick up, return, pick 6. They're not out there just trying to hold the fort and get you off the field.
Man, so I want to say they average throughout the season. I want to say they average like scoring defense like 7 a game, 6 a game. The magic number. The magic number for this, I want everybody to watch 23. I think when the Houston Texans have scored 20 or more points, they're like 12 and 13 now after they
20
beat
is the number. They get over 20. That's when. And the thing is, they can get to 20 a lot of different ways. They're gonna take the field goal if they get in field goal range. They're not gonna,
as they should.
Take every point they can get, because with the defense that good, every time you get 3, that's a big win for you. The way they play. I tell you what though, if CJ Stroud, lays another egg here, people gonna be asking, Carolina get it right after all?
Hey, I asked it back in week 6, and he put his hands on my quarterback, and
I know he did.
Talking about and little bro them, hey man, come here, don't take all them hits, man. If you don't get away from me, so I always, CJ Stroud, all that podcasting, all that dribbling before the games. Yeah, I got my eye on you, CJ. I'm looking at you, CJ. I'm watching you, CJ.
Watching you.
We watching you, so
don't be out there trying to sun Caleb.
Yeah. I got my pencil. Every pad I got. Did Carolina get it right?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right. So who you taking, man? We got Houston, New England. We talked a lot about it. Who you like? Who you got going to win it?
This was tough. I would like to see Houston win it. I would like to see Houston do it. I just like the way they play their defense and stuff, man. Man. I'm gonna say New England wins it by a field goal. I'm gonna say New England wins it by a field. I don't want that. I would rather Houston win it, but I'm
with you. I'm a road game. I start leaning towards as you go through the playoffs. I start leaning towards the home team.
Yeah.
Houston has the ultimate what I call equalizer, which is that defense.
Yeah.
As long as that defense gets on the plane, it's automatically a one-score game. I think.
Yeah.
I'm just leaning towards New England as well. I think Drake May, he's surprised me with his poise. I think he's got a really good understanding of what his role needs to be within this offense. Yeah. He's also, I think personally, he's taking chances and pushing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Whole playbook is open. I don't necessarily feel like he feels like he has to do it all either. I've seen him. He had an okay game. I think he had an interception and a fumble lost, and they ended up, kind of blowing the doors off towards the end of that game. But he never looked rattled, and that's one thing I pick up on with the QBs is, how do they handle adversity? And I thought he handled it well. So I'm going New England by 6 points. Actually, I'm gonna give him 6. So
okay,
yeah. All right, my favorite game. Yeah. And to top it all off, prime time.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Look who you guys, the team, the guys who everybody said was a joke, who we always found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
That's right.
The boogeyman, the Packers fans, and I'm speaking directly to you. I'm so happy your hearts are torn. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier. The fact, it was rough watching that first 3 quarters of that Packers and the Bears game, just watching us go down 21-3.
Yeah.
But the way it happened, that's normally us on that side, right? And historically, we've been the ones who found a way to lose those matchups. And the visions of B.J. Raji doing the hula dance, the visions of Aaron Rodgers throwing a Cobb with their own 4th and 8 to beat us. It's so many Packer moments that broke my heart.
Yeah.
And to see the Packers on the sideline after the game, dejected, to see, I've been watching, it's this 10-minute meltdown fan clip. I listened to it going to work. I've been doing it since Sunday, and I'm so excited. And to top it all off, Chicago Bear Nation, I'm talking to you. We got a coach who gets it. He came in the locker room
and went off.
And before he went and met with the team, they said they could hear him yelling, F Green Bay. F Green Bay. I hate them effing dudes, man. He's like us. He feel like us. And that's what it was going to take for us to get past the Packers, because every other coach who came in here before Ben showed
too much reverence.
Too much reverence. And Ben Johnson said it from day one. He said, I look forward to beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Matt LaFleur looked around like 50 Cent. What did I do? I didn't
catching strays.
I didn't catching strays. And he coached the team in a way and put it in their minds to where every game that we played against Green Bay, we were on edge, almost to the point where we were getting penalties. And, we played like it meant something. We played like that rivalry was life or death. And for Bears fans, I'm so happy and so excited for us that we finally got a chance to, put that boogeyman to bed and not be afraid. We didn't do it hanging around and wishing and praying and hoping somebody come save us. We saved ourselves. Now we are the A side. We got the better quarterback.
Yeah.
We got the better coach. And I remember, Bob, you remember when was it Danny Hurley when UConn started to make that run, and he said, "Hey guys, you better catch us now, because this the worst we gonna look."
Yeah.
So yeah, Green Bay, this the worst we gonna look.
Yeah.
This we're gonna talk about a little bit more. But I had a cheese grater. My wife was upset. I bought a cheese grater. I was gonna grate some cheese, but everybody did that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna do it and kind of, we've seen that before. But I will say this, and I got my notes. Caleb Williams, when you talk about a dog, everybody talked about, I'm seeing everybody kind of see what we saw since last year, that the guy is competitive, he loves the game, and he's super talented. And a star is being born. He wore an all-black suit to the game, and that wasn't by happenstance. That was for the Packers' funeral. That was for a funeral. And when you have that type of confidence, and when you have the type of leader, I don't know if you saw the cutaways when they showed Caleb and he was barking when things weren't going well.
Yeah, I saw
and it. Showing the emotion and the leadership. I was so proud of him that, he was taking control and trying to get that thing straightened out, and it meant something to him.
Yeah.
And I'm just super proud of the job that he did. Everybody forgets he's young. Colston Loveland. There's video footage of Packers radio station laughing at the Colston Loveland pick.
Oh yeah.
Saying, you
should have got Ty Warren.
Should have got Ty Warren. They laughing, and the Bears do it again. Well, how about 130 some odd yards and 9 catches later? 21 years old. You better catch us while you can, because this is the worst we're going to look. I'm going to keep saying, this is the worst we're going to look.
Yeah, you're so young, especially on offense, man.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Manunga's young, your offensive line. You got some young dudes on the offensive line that you just drafted.
Yeah.
Rome's new a rookie.
Manunga, you got
Manunga, your other receiver, Luther Burden's a rookie. I mean, we just talked about Colston. He's a rookie. I mean, it's a young team. So this is just kind of scratching the surface here. But if we break this game down, you're talking about, a guy that Caleb Williams probably aspires to be like in his own right, in Matthew Stafford. Actually, they kind of got a similar pedigree. Extremely talented, extreme arm talent. Mike, that's what all people say with Master. Even when he was in Detroit, that's what they said. And so, these guys are they got a little bit of that. Those kahunas, they got it in them. And so this is very interesting to see. In the cold weather, almost it could be a passing of the torch game almost. Because Stafford's on his way out. He probably don't have 1 or 2 more years left.
No, Matt, and you're spot on. Matt Stafford is actually next to, I think Caleb said, next to Aaron Rodgers. Matt Stafford was his favorite quarterback, and is also, Ben worked with Matt the latter years when Matt was in Detroit. Yeah. So a lot of some of the what I call just similar body types, similar traits. Ben Johnson has actually told Caleb, you should look at, from how to play the position. Matt Stafford is one of the best to do it. He's also an artist. He's a creative, no look passes. He can layer the football at different speeds. He can do it all. I think, and I got another secret. I didn't even tell you this. So I'm watching, this is real time. I was watching the Rams and San Francisco game. And I text Jersey Bass. I said, look, the Bears like the baby Rams, man. I'm not saying, we're in that class yet, but when you look at it, that was a great point you just made. When I look at Stafford and I look at Caleb, I'm like, they're very similar. When you look at the Puka, Devontae, the Higbee, Loveland, Burden, Rome kind of, structure, the same Sean McVay mastermind behind it all. They're just further along. So we're almost like the baby brother. Yeah. if we could, snapshot our offense right now versus their offense, they're just more. They've seen more. They've done it at a higher level than we've done it. But when you just kind of close your eyes and watch us play stylistically, we look very much the same on offense and defense. Their defense is kind of fair to middling. They're about average throughout the league. Great up front, soft on the edges, and they're opportunistic too. So when you look at just to me, when I look at it, just the eye test, I texted that out. I'm like, man, we kind of like the baby Rams, man. We're not as efficient as they are on offense.
Yeah,
but we're very similar. So what do you think about that? Just
I think it is, and and the question is as simply as this: it's like we've had been a child, we've been a child playing against our dad or older cousin or older brother. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you're doing some of the same moves you saw him do, but you're smaller and younger or less experienced. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard to overcome those situations unless you grow up get a little bit stronger, a little bit better, and then all of a sudden you can overtake them. Right. And so the question is with the two teams being similar like this, are the Rams going to be able to outclass Chicago, basically doing the same thing, but just a little bit better, a little bit more efficient there? You know what I'm saying? And so that'll be a part of the question there. But the game is in Chicago, and the game is in cold weather, and the Rams
minus it's gonna be 8 degrees, and it's gonna feel like -5.
Bro, I'm all set, bro. I'm good on that one. I ain't even going to the window to look out the game. It's too cold around the frame of the window. There's no way I couldn't even play in that weather in that type of weather.
So I went back and I watched the divisional round last year when the Rams lost to the Eagles. There was a snow game. It ended up getting pretty cold.
Okay. Yeah.
And that I think that offense is always going to be there's a level of explosiveness to that Rams offense.
Yeah.
And they run the ball. McVay, he'll run the ball. But I agree, man. For some reason, and this is just I don't know if you heard, but he hurt his index finger. Stafford hurt his right index finger on his throwing hand. So he's coming in with a little bit of an injury. I'm sure he'll play through it.
Yeah.
-5, -4 degrees. I think that kind of tilts. And this is where being a wide receiver, I hated weather impacting the game. I always felt football should be played in a warm, place or a dome to make sure the best team won. And this is why you fight for home field advantage. We actually, the Bears work out in it. We practice in it. Ben Johnson will not let the players have heaters at practice all year. And it's been a point of contention and complaints from the players. And he said, no, we always practice outdoors. And we call it bear weather. They come in, and one way to slow down an explosive offense is to add, that level, that layer of, it's hard to throw a cold, slick, hard football around when you got a broken index finger, right? Yeah. And I know they're saying it's just as bad sprain, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if he had a broken finger, and he's going to fight through it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that's a huge piece. The other thing that I've been thinking about a lot, man, really is what you just said, which is, the passing of the torch. Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay are very close.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't realize that Ben Johnson, it came out. I think Ben Johnson kind of looks at LaFleur and McVay almost like, Nepo babies coming off that Shanahan tree. They were given opportunities early than most. And I think that's where his disdain and some of his dislike for those guys have come from. So McVay, I'm sure, does not love the way that Ben Johnson has treated Matt LaFleur this year, unprovoked, right? And I'll be fair. It wasn't provoked. Matt LaFleur didn't say anything, unless it was completely behind the scene. He's just catching strays. But McVay has pride too, and he's like, it's kind of like somebody messing with you. I'm like, man, they beat you. I'm standing up for you. I'm riding with you. So apparently Matt LaFleur has been on the phone and, coaching up and giving tidbits to Sean McVay to take down Ben Johnson, which I'm fine with. I don't care.
Yeah, I did. I know it's fascinating. It's still fascinating, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they've gotten to the point where this is like, high school type stuff where you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You crosstown rivalry, like, hey man, how you beat these guys, man? Like this is crazy, man. But what I love about that is number one, that tells you how much all of these guys, whether you like them or hate them, this just real, bro. This
Very
is what
real.
they do. This is not for the money, ain't for the. This is real. They could give a damn about all of that. They want to win this game, and this is what this is. This is ain't no shortcuts here. No messing of words. I don't like him. He don't like me, and that's what it is, right? So I love that. Number one, and then the second part is Ben Johnson is like, yo, you know how you make sure you don't get bullied. You go to the biggest motherfucker out here and knock him off, and you punch him in his face, and then everyone else knows that you're not to be messed with. And he's done it. He's been doing it.
Yeah, that's what my uncle told me back when I was a little boy, man. He's from Mississippi. We were in Mississippi. And he said back in the day, that's how they did it. He said you went to a man's house. If you had a problem with him, you go to his house and knock on his door and tell him to come outside. And that's what Ben Johnson has been doing with, especially with Green Bay.
Yeah.
But I think his mentality in Chicago, and this is why you need the right personalities for certain situations. And he's been a home run for us because he heard and he kind of understood the landscape of what we needed to get over.
That's right.
We needed to get over in order to take it to the next level.
A complex.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So he's not some, and I said I hate bullies. He's not some bully, some tough guy. He's just walking in and letting people know that we're going to fight you until there's no more time on the clock. We're not afraid of you. And if you think that we just going to roll over and take what you're giving to us and not, punch back and fight back, and hell, we might even knock you out, right? So that's like you said, those guys are super competitive, and they're all offensive minds, what makes it even better. So again, I don't care about Green Bay. I'm glad he said he F Green Bay. Yeah. That's what we need. Yeah, we got too many, people who from out in Green Bay crying about it when they had no issue with Aaron Rodgers discount double checking, screaming into the camera, "I own you. I own you. I own you." They laughed and they thought it was funny. So F Green Bay. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, you guys could do. Now you do something about it. And we're not afraid of you. And this carries over into, this is where I got to tone myself down to where, the interdivisional rivalry brings out a different beast and competitor in you. I think with the Rams, we're going to have to refocus. Yeah. And, they run a very, what I call a high level scheme that you have to be disciplined and sound. And, we struggled against that in the first half against Green Bay. Yeah. And I think, Dennis Allen has traditionally struggled with McVay. Sean McVay is 6-2 against Dennis Allen. And he's averaged about 30 points. I think Dennis found something out last week where he's like, man, if I'm gonna get beat, I'm gonna get beat quick. It ain't gonna be by death by 1,000 paper cuts. I'm gonna bring my corners on up. I'm gonna blitz a little bit more. I'm gonna take a few more chances. And that was one of the things that I saw in the times that the Rams did lose. There were the defenses had to create turnovers in that divisional round against the Eagles. They created 2 turnovers against Seattle. They found a way to pick them off and, get some turnovers. I expect Dennis Allen to be more aggressive. We got house money right now, and we got nothing to really be cautious about. Yeah, I know from we get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in the secondary. We got Kyler Gordon back. He had a concussion. Yeah. He's a full go. Yeah. So I expect us to, be super aggressive. Ben Johnson did exactly what I thought he would. Remember when we talked about the going for it on 4th down and how he felt losing to Detroit, and he was like, I ain't never letting that happen again. Yeah. I expect us to be what I call super aggressive. Yeah. With the 4th down calls. Yeah. And this is what I want people to understand. We got a lot of talk around Caleb not having a high completion percentage. And I've been thinking about this quite a bit, but he's still so successful. The Bears are ushering in, and Caleb's ushering in a new style to where it's equivalent to the NBA three when they hit the NBA with Steph Curry, to
Yeah.
where an explosive play is defined as 20 yards or more on offense, running or passing. Caleb has more explosives than anybody in the league, right? So how do you beat efficiency? It's almost like hitting a home run, right?
Mhm.
You're not getting on base a ton or as much as you want to, but if you're hitting hitting dingers for 3-run homers, 2-run homer here, you can hit some home run plays and be explosive and jump out on some people. So we have that ability to we're in every game, right?
Yeah.
And the Rams, even last week against Carolina, they let Carolina hang around and they just, ended up sneaking that one out with J.C. Horn dropped the pass.
Don't do that this week.
But don't let us hang around this week. And I'm saying it from a place of, maybe hope as a fan. I really feel like we got a great shot, man. The reality is, we got the fourth phase. The Chicago fans are excited and ready to go. We got weather on our side, and we got a team. And Caleb talked about it. He was talking about how monumental Ben has been in his life and kind of changing the trajectory of his career.
Yeah.
He smells it. And, when you talk about in the NBA, one player can change, the fortune of your team, right? With how he plays. And I'm starting to get that feeling from Caleb Williams, man. 18 can change the complexity and the trajectory of any game just with some of the throws and some of the plays that he's making. So I'll be quiet. I'm super excited about it. You can kind of tell me your thoughts on kind of close us out on what you think the Rams need to do to win, and I can give you my thoughts on what I think the Bears need to do to win.
Yeah, in order for the Rams to win, I think they need to get off to a quick start. Maybe create a little bit of doubt in the Bears. It's a younger team that hasn't gone this far. Maybe make them kind of feel like, all right, man, this is it. We gave it everything we had, and this is where our rise stops. And anytime you can help, create that type of mindset, then the Rams need to try to do that, because if they don't, they're gonna take a team that's very hungry and keep them alive in the game and stuff. And so the Rams gonna have to get off to a start. I don't know if they can force any negative plays. Like Caleb had some busts as far as just like missing some people who are open.
Yeah.
But he hasn't put the ball in harm's way very much at all. He's been very good. The two things he worked on was, being errant with the football, and then not taking the bad sacks from last year to this year. And just doing that has helped him better, because he's been able to not have those negative plays.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, the Bears are missing Edwards, and
broke his leg.
That's gonna have an effect. So, can the Rams push the envelope offensively and keep the pressure on Chicago's defense to have to defend them all blades of grass, if you will, and stuff. So I think that's where the Rams are when it comes down to it. They've been in the NFC West, so they probably battle tested and stuff like that. But I think they also know they saw the San Francisco tape. They saw some of these games where y'all put up big numbers and stuff. So I think they know what they're dealing with, but I think that's what they're gonna have to do to win. On my end.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. For us to win, I want it's going to come down to I think, can we control the line of scrimmage on both sides, right?
Yeah.
On offense, we need to be able to stop the run at least. We're not going to we can contain the pass as best we can, but I think Stafford is going to do what he does, and Puka is
y'all
such a handful.
Rush, man, y'all don't have enough pass rush this year. That's the problem.
We don't.
Way too much time, man.
We don't, and that's what we talk about with the warts, right? Every team has warts, and this is one where
all are flawed teams. It's a salary cap. It's a salary cap free agent league.
Yeah.
You come with holes.
Yeah, you can only do so much with this cap. I'm hoping with the weather being as cold and as windy as it is, that it allows us to kind of limit their passing abilities a little bit, to kind of even things out there. And then if we can not shut down, but just kind of slow down Williams and Corum to where we don't let them just completely dominate what I call time of possession and scoring touchdowns as well. So I'm looking for us to see if we can control the line of scrimmage on defense. I'm also looking to see we're going to have to run the ball, right? I think we got to tire them down a little bit.
Been running great against Green Bay, so
no, we got to tire their front down a little bit so we can pass. A little bit different. You and I use the terminology. You earn the right to rush the passer. I think on defense, on offense, I think you earn the right to kind of pass the ball around and get Caleb to when we do go, that four wide and shotgun, that they're not coming full bore. We lost Ozzie Trapillo, our left tackle, which is a huge loss.
Yeah, they're gonna put Jared Verse on. They're gonna put Verse on the side. You know that.
Yeah, they're gonna put Jared Verse over there. So Ben's gonna do some creative things with formations and chipping to keep Caleb upright. But in the end, I expect us to be super aggressive and go out there, and our offense is gonna win this game. Our offense is the heartbeat of this team. Caleb is the heartbeat, and Ben, is the mind behind it all. My whole focus on this game is watching to see if we can get Swift and Monangai, some what I call easy on track, easy first downs, moving the line of scrimmage and keeping us on schedule. And also, I trust Caleb. Caleb doesn't throw a ton of picks. He didn't throw a ton of picks as a rookie. He didn't throw a ton of picks. He threw 2. In last game, one wasn't his fault. Luther Burden didn't want to run the right route. The other one, I thought we got too cute. It's 4th and 1, and instead of us just lining up and running it, we tried to do a little bit of a play action, kind of a boot action, and they read it out. They sniffed it out, and he just threw it up because he had to. It was 4th down. But at the end of the day, I'm going Bears 28, and Rams. I'm gonna say 24. So I'm going Bears 28, Rams 24.
Yeah, that Trapillo injury, it's a problem with Verse. Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say though is if the Rams don't have discipline in their rush lanes, Caleb is so good outside the pocket. They almost got to be careful trying to overshoot to try to get the sack and stuff, and then leave the rush line, because he's so sudden when he moves. He can get out the pocket and do all types of damage. So to a certain extent, Caleb protects you in his own right, because you can't just be wild and unharnessed when you attack him. You got to stay at home, and that means you can't go in as hard as you do. That gives him time. So
it does. That's a great point. I think with that. And I was watching how they played Jalen Hurts, and they did exactly that. They kind of, we call it a sugar rush, where you kind of, surround the quarterback and try to keep him in the pocket. Yeah, I think that's the stance that they'll take. But Caleb will hurt you from the pocket too. And this is a game where their secondary is, they got Durant, and they have I think Lake and a few other guys out there.
It's small though.
Burden and
they're
Rome
not big dudes.
Loveland.
Dudes.
We got a few pieces that could cause problems. Yeah, they're not big guys. So I know you got to get out of here. I'm super excited about this weekend. Yeah. I'm at a point now where I wish we could kick it off today, man. I feel really, really good about what we're doing. Yeah. This season has been a success, and I told you I had to kind of recalibrate my expectations. Yeah. And this is the piece I've been thinking about. I'm gonna leave you with this. I know we've been the cardiac bears, and we've been saying it for a while, but what if we actually put 4 quarters together?
Right.
What if we put 2 quarters together like we put, these last, kind of comeback wins? That's the part of the Bears that's super scary. Yeah. And I think that's what's keeping the Rams fans up at night is, what if the Bears actually come out and play a more complete game? Is that enough to beat the Rams? I don't know. They're, like I said, they're a great team, and they got a lot going for them as well. Yeah. But it's a home game, and it's a young team that does not know what they don't know. I put it that way. And for me, if I was on the other side, I'd be a little bit worried.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt. And I tell you, whether we have a win or a loss, and it won't be any draws. H&M Sports Academy will be here, and we will be covering it and talking about it and breaking it down as we move into the later stages of the season here. One more injury note for the Buffalo Denver game. Defensive end, defensive edge, defensive tackle Ed Oliver is questionable, and he is looking like he may play. Buffalo's been difficult to stop the run, and he is a big part of that. And if you can get him there and get anything out of him, all of a sudden Denver's got a little bit tougher road to hoe when it comes to just running the ball down here. So these injuries will we talked about Nico, we talked about Fred Warner, we talked about Trillo, we talked about Edwards, all these different injuries and stuff, man. So we will be watching that as well with the H&M Sports Academy. This has been another great evening for us to discuss this, and we're so excited, man. So super excited to talk about this and break it down. I'm gonna watch these Lakers and see how they play against Charlotte tonight.
That's right. We got Bron and the Lakers, man. Hey, and before you go, I can't take another. I don't know. We got to find an extra donor, man. So if anybody out there in the area, with San Diego area, anybody in the Virginia area, with I send you the blood type information on the DM or something behind the scenes. I can't take too much from my heart. I'm getting too old for this, man. So
nerves, man.
Yeah, my nerves are shaky. Caleb, Ben, Chicago Bears, do me a favor. Just win this one outright, man. Let's just win this one early so I could cruise into the NFC Championship game. Y'all done gave me enough stress, man. I'm already three years off my life already messing with you boys, man. So give me an easy one this week.
That's what we signed up for, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes, man. I'm definitely looking forward to this. So it's been great again. We're going to sign off here today for H&M Sports Academy. My name is Mo. This is Harry.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good evening.
All right.